And with that, we'll open it up for questions for Rob Harley. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hello, gentlemen, ladies. I don't know if I can't see everybody.
Hey, Rob.
How you doing, Rob?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Rob, can you talk a little bit about all the years you've been at Pitt, you've been real serious about depth, building depth at linebacker. Now you really need that depth now with the injuries. How are those guys doing, the second-level guys?
Yeah, I think we've gotten a lot of reps. I mean, we've done a good job. Obviously, this year we were kind of prepared for it, because you just didn't know. So we've done a good job shuffling guys in. And, again, that's just the nature of football in general, but the nature of football in 2020, you gotta be ready. So we've shuffled some guys in, and I think they continue to get reps, and we continue to learn, and we just continue to stay ready and be ready.
How are they building chemistry, being in and out of the lineup?
Yeah, I just think it's built in other ways, in all honesty. I mean, obviously you're playing chemistry, but we're in the room, we're talking, we're giving them a chance to play together with different groups. So I just think it's done through there. And again, it's we've shuffled a lot of guys in, so it's not new to them.
Rob, obviously everybody has their own unique journey, but Servassier has definitely had one. Can you speak to how far he's come and what level or what kind of understanding do you think he has for what you're trying to do?
Yeah, first of all, he's extremely intelligent, and he's been really good. I mean, obviously he's a year older than those guys as a post grad, so that helped him just from a maturity level. But he's a mature kid, a mature player, and again, he just brings a level of really wanting to know all the details. And obviously all of them want to know, and he's able to absorb it and then bring it and execute it. So I've been really pleased with him and where he's come and how far he's come and how fast he's come along, just in terms of learning what we want and then sharing that knowledge with everybody else.
Boston College is a team you played last year, and, they were run heavy, and this year they're throwing the ball. I mean, how are they similar and how are they different from year to year?
Yeah, obviously, just their percentages and some of their stats have changed. Maybe their mentality has changed, but they're running very similar run plays. And we're always going to go in to try to make someone one-dimensional. So, obviously, in my room, we have to do both. We have to cover, we have to play the run. But our number one goal is to stop the run and make somebody one-dimensional. So, we're going in thinking they're going to try to establish the run, and we're going in with the goal to stop that. And that will be our goal every game.
Rob, what have you seen on tape from BC's tight end, Hunter Long?
Well, he's a heck of a player, heck of an athlete, good blocker, physical player, creates matchup issues. And, we understand that we have to know where 80 is at all times. And again, he's their favorite target. They've targeted him a ton, I think 40 times in 3 games now. They've targeted him, so they know where he is. We have to know where he is. And we have to be very diligent and disciplined and with our eyes in finding him.
Dracovic was someone, you've probably been aware of for a long time, being a Pittsburgh guy. What has he done to impress you so far this year? And even thinking back to the recruiting process, is this the type of player you expected him to be?
Yeah, I think, obviously we didn't get a chance to see him when he left in the last couple of years, but to me, it's when you watch him play, it's a competitor. That's kind of how he was in high school. He was a basketball player as well, and just competitive, and he doesn't want to lose the play. And when he gets outside of the pocket, he's a problem for people because he's going to extend the play. He's physical. He's big. He's tough to bring down. And he's going to get that ball off. And he is determined to get it downfield. So I think it's his competitive nature and his ability to see downfield that makes him so tough. And we're going to have our hands full with him and that offense. And we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, Rob, is that what makes him hard? Because he's able to extend those plays, but he's got arm enough that if you commit too much, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah, extremely strong arm. And again, extremely hard to bring down. And our guys understand that. So we're going to have to bring everything we've got, bring our feet, and wrap up and again, make it difficult for him to have to be able to extend that arm. But again, it's just his competitive nature. He wants to win the play, and those guys are always tough.
Rob, can you talk a little bit about Chase Pine and how he's developed over the years? He's been in and out of the starting lineup. He started the last couple games. Well, how has he been able to adjust to his new role?
I think he's done a good job. I think as he and I have talked over the years, and especially this year, is now he's, in the starting lineup. It's really preparation, and he's matured a lot in his preparation because, again, as we know, a lot of athletes, a lot of young athletes, they just want to go play, and hey, in your preparation is how you're going to be ready to play, not just ready on game day. And he's really matured in that way. And that's why you're seeing him be able to step in there and not really blink because he's preparing for those moments. And I'm really pleased with how he's working off the field in the film room to get ready for Saturday. So I've been really pleased with him.
Rob, I know Pat has told us he's used that phrase, and I think this is what you're alluding to, that where players will say, "Oh, I'm a game guy. I'll be ready for the game if I have a bad practice." How tough is that to instill in guys that, hey, everything that you do here counts towards the game, if you understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's the nature of sports in general, right? We all watch game days, whether it be a basketball game or a baseball game or whatever, a hockey game or Saturdays for college football. We all just lock in on that. And we all forget that there's 3, 4, 5 days in between those games, that's where the games and starting spots and depth charts are built. They're built on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for us on the practice field. And Saturday is just the culmination of those 3 days. And if you can't do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, surely we can't trust you to do it Saturday. So that goes for all of our guys. And as much as young guys want to play, they have to understand that they got to turn it on Tuesday so their teammates trust them. And that's the biggest thing. And that's, like I said, with Servassier and really the whole room, when you get guys doing that like Servass has and Chase has, that trickles down to your young guys. So I don't have to talk about it much when they watch your older guys prepare and bring them into the film room. Hey, man, this is what they expect. And that goes a long way, way longer than me preaching that every day.
Anything else?
Rob, sorry if I got here a little late to address earlier, but Servassier was talking about how he's ready to play star and money and different linebackers. And I just wanted to hear from you just what you've seen out of this group's willingness to be able to play different positions and their flexibility in playing the variety of different spots within your defense.
Yeah, it's, that's what we're looking for in recruiting, right? We're not just ever recruiting one spot, right? Because if that person can't play there, then they stand next to me on the bench, right? And they get beat out. They have to be multiple, and that's part of what we preach in recruiting. And you're going to have a chance to play multiple spots if you can pick it up. And again, he's been good, and Chase has been good over the years, and Phil Campbell has been good over the years, and the ability to play multiple spots is what we're recruiting to. And those guys have done a phenomenal job embracing that and not getting frustrated and saying, hey, listen, next man up, and wherever I can go and make a difference, I'm going to. So I've been pleased with our room in that case.
Oh, good. Well, Coach, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, as always.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Rob.
We're joined by offensive line coach Dave Borbely. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Hi, fellas and ladies. How are you?
Good. Well, we'll open it up for questions for Coach.
Coach.
I'm ready.
Dave, how do you, kind of get the running game back on track this week?
Well, I think after a game like that, 2 things happen on good teams. One is that the players tend to blame themselves, okay? And 2, the coaches tend to blame themselves. And I think both parties are correct. And I think, we have to play better, and we have to coach them better. And that's what we're going to do. After each win, and I've always told my players this, stay hungry, stay humble, and just understand that the difference between winning and losing is not very great. And you have 24 hours to celebrate a win. You have 24 hours to mourn the loss, and then it's on to the next opponent, and whether you win it or whether you lose it, we have to come back and be 1 week better. So certainly there's a lot of improvement we need to make. As I tell them, it starts from the ground with their footwork, with their leverage, with their hand placement, with their takeoff. It starts with those fundamentals. And, and we continue to work those each and every week, whatever the outcome was of the previous week. And so that's really, where we are. So, we're not going to jump into the wishbone or anything like that. We're going to stay the course and get it better.
Dave, has it been a good response so far this week?
The kids have been fantastic. They really have. And I think they totally get that whole I know they totally get that whole concept. And, I told them, I said, hey, 1 point, 1 point makes a big difference in how you feel on Sunday and certainly on how you feel after the game on Saturday. And, and we made the corrections and I've got a pretty mature group in there, as you guys know. And I've had those kids for a while now, and they get it. They get that message, and they know we got to come to work each day. And the response has been fantastic. We probably had our best, maybe our best 2 days of practice. I haven't seen the tape from today, but I liked what I saw in the field. But yesterday was probably the most physical Tuesday we've had since we've started.
Dave, before the season, Jimmy and Carter and Cradle, those guys were talking a lot about running off the ball, being more aggressive, especially in the running game. Have you seen that on a consistent basis, or have you seen that enough really through 4 games here?
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about our wide zone play, or our zone play, and if you watch the tape, if you have a chance to watch the TV copy or or the game tape of any of those previous games, I thought we definitely did that. When we run our power schemes, there's not as much running off the ball per se. There's pullers and there's double teams, but it's specifically in that wide zone game. Yeah, we're doing a much better job with that, although it didn't show on Saturday. But we've done a much better job with that up to this point so far this year than we have in the last 2 years. And we started all of that stuff in 2018.
What did you see from your team in pass blocking on Saturday?
Well, I thought we did a great job in protection. We picked up every blitz that they ran. There was a lot of 3-man rush, which just a sidebar to that. I told them today, there's plenty of teams that give up sacks on a 3-man rush because usually there's nowhere to go with the ball. And I thought we did a great job of protecting. And I told them this morning, actually, I've never seen a quarterback complete so many balls into drop 8 coverage as Kenny did the other day. And then when he didn't, when he scrambled, it's because things were covered, because it's hard to find a place to throw. When they pressured us, I thought we did a really good job with it. I think we missed one on a 3-step drop. But I thought they did a nice job with it. I think Carter Warren is really developing into a very reliable, big time left tackle. He's been they've all been really solid in that regard. 2 years ago we couldn't pass protect, and that's why we lost the Notre Dame game. So we've improved a lot certainly in that aspect. Yes. I think this week, I'm sure you're going to get to Boston College. I think it will be more of a test, because they have a different blitz style than North Carolina State did. North Carolina State had some good stuff. These guys are, they're they are a, middle pressure, interior pressure kind of team. And they make there's no disguising it. It's coming, they know it's coming, and it's up to you to get it blocked. So, and they've got some skilled guys out, probably the most skilled rushers, particularly on the perimeter that we've seen up to this point. We've seen some fast guys, but these guys I think are fairly skilled. You can see how they're coached. They do a really good job with their edge rushers on the 2 tackles.
Dave, you mentioned the kind of middle pressure, interior pressure. How nice is it to have a guy like Jimmy with that much experience and obviously the leadership qualities that he has to kind of be able to not only pick things up himself, but dole out the assignments correctly? Well,
it's fantastic. And, he comes up here every Tuesday and Wednesday night and spends, and really now it used to just be him in the past 2 years. And now he's got the whole entourage with him on a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night. It used to just be he and I, and we'd go through the third down pressures, and I would tell him how we wanted to handle things, and he's really smart. I give him, I give him a lot of leeway in there. It can be choice A or choice B. Choice A might be better, but if you go with choice B, when the bullets are flying, if we're playing fast, you can't get to choice A, and choice B is a little bit easier. Just go with that. And like he's fantastic. But with that said, it takes the other four to be on the same page with him, as well as the running back. And and they do a really good job with that. So I've been very pleased with that.
Dave, when you look at the video, some of those short yardage situations that didn't work, were the problems physical? Were they maybe the fundamentals weren't right, or was the scheme? What exactly was the problem there?
Well, the real short ones, the quarterback sneaks. I mean, we were running into the Chinese army for sure, but we felt like with our success in the past sneaking the ball that we were going to go with it, and so those we were fortunate to convert. The one that jumps out in my mind was on the goal line. If I had the other play, I wanted to run it. I wanted to run another play out of the same personnel, and Whip threw it at me really quick, and I said, "Yeah, do it." And I had the other play in my brain, and I didn't get it to him, because we were moving pretty quick, and I was like, "Yeah, go with it." And really, I regret that decision, because had we run the other play, it probably would have walked in. So, and that's football. I mean, we've been successful with that in the past, and it's kind of like those A-gap pressures. They know it's being run here, we know it's being run there, and and you got to stop it. And unfortunately, for us, they did. So in that case, choice B would have been better, and I didn't spit it out quickly enough, and and that was the result. We got stopped down there. So so we have to do a better job that way.
Dave, you mentioned fundamentals earlier, and Bryce talked about it earlier this week. Just wanted to get your perspective when you watched the tape and you had time to evaluate it. What was the thing, about your fundamentals that you wanted to see your guys do better? Maybe better footwork, lower pad leverage, reading, knowing your assignments better off the ball. Was there something specific that you guys were like, hey, this needs to be a point of emphasis this week in practice?
Well, yeah, angles, particularly in zone blocking, angles are really important, and again, it all not to rehash all that, but it does start from the ground and it goes up, and it starts with your footwork, and then it starts with, staying on track. And if you get off track, you can get beat over the top by a linebacker. And so that's certainly been a point of emphasis. And frankly, it is each week, but even more so this week for sure, and I didn't think that I didn't think we did a great job with angles. I probably didn't do a great enough job coaching it, and so we didn't get a good result. But certainly that's been a huge point of emphasis is, how to work, working the combinations and being on the correct angle to either block a down player or block a linebacker. Really, really key.
Dave, what did you see from Carson, specifically at right tackle on Saturday?
Well, Carson did a really nice job in protection for me. Number one, we ran a wide zone. We ran a wide zone to him, to the two tight ends, and he got knocked back. That guy was a pretty stout player. He got knocked back a little bit, and I just thought, I got to have more muscle in there. And so that's at that point, that was about 10 or 12 plays into it. At that point, I told Gabe I had him, I wanted Gabe ready, to be ready to go. And I thought I needed a little more oomph in there, So I ended up putting Gabe in there, but I thought Carson did a really nice job for us overall, and then he ended up playing through. Well, he played played the first 12 plays, got knocked back a little bit. At that point, I made a change and I kept Gabe in there. That was second quarter. I kept Gabe in there probably midway through the third quarter. And then I put Carson back in, and and I thought he did a nice job for us at the point of attack, and then certainly in protection he did a really good job. And he's one of those, he's been one of those guys that's really not a multi-position player, but certainly can play either tackle. And, he's kind of my utility guy that way. It's like, okay, if somebody goes down, I always have Carson in my back pocket, if he's not starting. So, I like him a lot. I think he's come so far. We laugh about it all the time. I tell him how terrible he was when I got here, when he was like the fourth right tackle in 2018. He probably weighed 250. So he's really developed and is still developing. And, I'm expecting big things from him through the rest of the year.
I saw Gonzalez in there for a little bit. I mean, what did you see from him, and just overall, how has he been progressing this year?
Well, Matt is a guy that I think is going to really be a big time player for us. He played 8 snaps to be specific about it. I've had him working at guard. Okay. And last week I moved him back out to tackle because I knew I wanted to start Carson on the right. So I moved Matt back to left tackle. And it was like, he's worked all of camp, all of summer, all of camp at left guard. And I moved him to tackle, and it looked like he never left the position. And, he'll probably swing back and forth this week between those two spots. But, he's a very talented guy. He's a tough guy. I put him in the Wildcat. And he did a nice job. He did a really nice job for us. He was one of the second pullers on one of those plays. And then on the second one that Sib ran, he was really kind of a point of attack guy. Gave up a little penetration, but he totally understands our system and what we're trying to do. And as a redshirt freshman, that's pretty good. He needs to get stronger and all of those things. I mean, he's just a young guy, but I think he's going to be an excellent player for us. He's got a great demeanor, and, he's a tough guy. And he's from Long Island. So I always tell him, I said, give me a little New York attitude when you're out there. Okay. And I think that role for him right now is a really good role, because, I can get him on the field, get him developed. He's not quite ready enough to start yet, but he's getting close. But I think that role for him at this stage is really good to kind of spoon feed the action to him.
Any final questions for Coach? All good. Well, Coach, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
But next time, try to catch me after a win. You guys always get me after a loss. So
we'll take you every week, Coach. You're good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us, Rashad. Appreciate the time. We'll open it up for questions for number 17.
Rashad, how do you get the pass rush back on track this week against Boston College?
I think first of all, if you watch the film, the pass rush was there. It was a quick passing team. Me and Pat were abusing those tackles for NC State all day long, so I think it's on track, and it'll be back there. Just got to be a little quicker, I guess, if you want to get it back on track and get back there a little faster. If teams are going to try to quick pass us and be better on the edge, winning faster. But I think it was on track, and always got to be better. If you lose, and we could be a lot better. But it's not like it just fell off last week. So,
Rashad, Pat Narduzzi talked about you guys going live on the quarterback this week because the Boston College quarterback is so hard to bring down. What have you seen from Jurkovec as far as how hard he is to bring down, because he is such a big guy?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays in college, you see a lot of quarterbacks that are 6'1" and 6'2", and not that prototypical 6'5" type of guy. And he's a big guy. He is 6'5", 240, 230, whatever he's listed at. And he knows how to stand in the pocket and be strong with his lower body and shake off tackles and throw the ball downfield. So you got to be solid at wrapping him up and bringing him down, because he's not just going to go down easy. And he'll throw the ball while someone's around his waist trying to pull him down. So we got to be ready for that.
Rashad, on that, Jerkovic last week against UNC, he made some pretty crazy plays outside the pocket. But when you're sitting there watching the film as a DN, as a guy who's getting after him on the edge, do you kind of look at that and say, okay, like he's going to get outside the pocket, we might have some more opportunities to hit him to get after him?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if a guy's going to run around, he's kind of giving up his body on certain plays if he's going to try to make circus throws, which he's good at, and continue plays downfield. So we'll be able to get extra shots at him. But the goal of all of the game is always to try to keep the quarterback in the pocket as best as you can, so we can't stretch out plays and make it harder for our back end and our linebackers in coverage. So, we want to try to bottle him up as best as we can. But with an athlete like that, you have to be on point all day.
Shot as a leader on this team, and you said much to the guys about putting last week behind and focusing ahead. What's the feeling been like in practice the last few days?
Yeah, I mean, it started with Coach Dewes. We put it behind us after Sunday, after we watched film and went over everything that we could have done better. It started with him telling us to put it behind, and then we came out on Tuesday and focused on Boston College. We're game planning for them and trying to bring the energy. And it was a colder day yesterday, so try to get the guys hyped for practice. And it's been pretty good. And I think we had a great day today, and we'll continue to build off that. And I think guys are ready. And we had that taste in our mouth last week, and we don't want it again. So I think guys are locked in and a little more focused. We were having fun and stuff last week, which is easy to do when you're winning. But when you come off that loss, guys are not putting up with it as much this week and more focused on taking care of Boston College this weekend.
Rashad, you guys saw last week about a few offsides penalties in the first half and some from the younger players. What's you're a senior on this team, you're a leader. What's been your insight of just seeing how those younger players have adjusted to that loss? For some of the guys like Elijah Cansey, this was their first loss with the team. How have you seen them respond this week in practice?
Well, I mean, first, I had the first offsides on the defense. So, I mean, and I'm the older guy. So, I was real disappointed in myself. And then when a bunch of other guys get it, just makes it even worse for me going into meetings. So I had to deal with that. But it's something we practice all week. And, we practiced at it weeks before for teams that do it, and they just kind of caught us. And they did a good job of acting like they were doing a tempo offense, but then they would bring a hard count, and that caught us off sides a lot, which we got to be better than that. And, the young guys – sometimes, not saying Kalijah specifically, but with young guys, they can kind of a loss not bother them as much and just kind of shrug it off. But I think they've seen with the older guys how much it mattered to us and us being upset and how we're handling it. They're kind of following our lead, and that'll be good for them in the future.
What changes this week with your first road game? I mean, how are you guys approaching that aspect?
I mean, the only thing that changes is it's all new for us, with COVID and everything. We don't know how they're going to have us load the plane, the buses, away hotels, or anything. So it's changes. Everything's new for us this weekend. We've got to have 4 home games in a row where the first game was new for us with COVID, but then we had 3 games in a row where it was the same routine. So I guess going into a new place, like I said, loading the buses to the airport, getting on a plane, landing, and figuring out how everything is laid out with this situation will be what changes for us. And, I mean, we don't know what it's going to be like, so we'll figure that out on Friday and leading up to the game on Saturday.
Anything final? All good. Rashad, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rashad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll send out the video from today's session to you guys shortly. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll have Coach tomorrow, standard Thursday stuff. So thank you all. We'll see you.